Hi, I'm Andrew from Player. Game-based learning is a strategy that's been around forever, and with good reason too. Playing games engages our attention, stimulates our senses, and heightens our motivation to win. Gamification in e-learning satisfies many basic human needs such as ego gratification, pride of mastery, and the many other emotional rewards that make games fun. Let's see how gamification applies to making e-learning more engaging and effective. To use an analogy, e-learning is the foundation onto which we can bolt all the additional engagement and information retention boosting layers. If you think about it, assigning grades for work done is precisely the same as awarding badges for accomplishment and to signify proficiency. In that respect, gamification already exists in the world of learning. Similarly, you'll hear about someone being at the top of their class. In other words, they're at the top of a leaderboard, which is a classic example of gamification technique. Before we continue, let's be very clear about the difference between gamification and game-based learning. A gamified learning experience may also feature game-based learning, and that's a different thing from gamification. Game-based learning is presented in the form of an actual game, like a board game or a video game. Learning to manage money by playing Monopoly, or learning to spell by playing Hangman, would be a form of game-based learning, though I'm not convinced the designers of these games had teaching in mind. Unlike gamification, game-based learning is an actual standalone game that is designed to help people learn. By choosing actions and solving problems that the game presents, learners gain new knowledge and acquire new skills when playing. When a game is designed specifically to teach, we usually call this an educational game. For example, if your objective is to teach employees all about company culture, you might design a game like Trivial Pursuit, but instead of having general trivial questions, all the questions relate to the company. This is not gamification. Although the content material is presented in a game format, the correct description of this application is game-based learning. You have literally created a game, and if you've been following, you'll know upfront that gamification is not the business of making games. Gamification is the use of game-like elements in traditionally non-game settings to drive engagement, motivate employees, or achieve a specific objective or goal. Gamification involves substantially more than merely providing levels, experience points, and badges. Gamification isn't a learning tool in its own right. Applied in a training context, gamification elements are highly effective at promoting learning, especially when learners are required to understand and recall things like concepts or procedures. If you captivate your learners by using a relatable, scenario-based approach, they feel part of a grand story in which they play a pivotal role. Consequently, they'll be far more engaged, leading to a greater retention of training knowledge. Very often, gamification is confused by some as being a form of e-learning. This is not true. Gamification must always be considered as a layer designed on any system driven by the performance of the people using it. E-learning systems are designed to facilitate lesson completion through methods that involve constant feedback, personalization, and content simplification. All of these methods integrate well into a layer of gamification. So, using this type of design principle, a carefully crafted layer of gamification may produce the correct outcome from an e-learning system by modifying the specific behavior of participants. In summary, e-learning is the foundation onto which we can bolt our gamification elements and layers. Making a game to teach specific content is game-based learning, not gamification. Using game elements and game mechanics in traditionally non-game environments to drive engagement and change behavior is gamification. To get the full benefit of e-learning, use gamification elements as well as game-based learning in the e-learning environment. Blending these methods is an incredibly clever way to encourage people to learn. Aside from the instant data feedback, which lets you stay on top of how your participants are doing, this approach adds a little extra motivation to continue learning. Gamification injects some much-needed fun and sets up learning as an ever-unfolding flow of quests, missions, and challenges that lead to ever higher levels of knowledge, skill, and accomplishment. Great gamification can change a chore into a challenge and learning into a lifestyle. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, then go ahead and write them in the comments below. And if you want to be notified of new videos, then subscribe to the channel and click the Notify Me icon. See you in the next video.